Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel. This is just some more local gameplay at Nemesis Comics and Games. Today on the left we have Joe, who's going to be playing Esper Frog, and then myself on the right, I am going to be playing Samwise combo. And for me, I just started picking up Samwise a few weeks ago. I think the deck's really cool. It's got a lot of fun things going for it. Nice creature combo deck, which stuff that I enjoy. So really excited to play this at my locals. And then we have Joe, who is playing Esper Frog, and Joe is a big fan of Counterspell plus blue cards. And he's playing Ketramos today, so this is going to be exciting. Joe's going to kick things off with a Mistress Archive. He's going to Surveil. And, for this matchup, on my side, it can be a little tough. Joe's deck plays a lot of interaction, a lot of ways to keep the combo down, but I may be able to just swarm him with some of my cards. So we're going to go basic Forest into Young Wolf, and then we're going to kick it back over to Joe. Joe's going to untap, draw for the turn, and let's see what we got going on here. So Polluted Delta as the land for turn. We're going to crack Polluted Delta immediately. Fall down to 17. And we are going to get a Watery Grave. We're going to Thoughtseize. And now Joe's going to Thoughtseize me. You're going to see Beseiju, Samwise, Cauldron, Lush Portico, and Court of Calling. I kept this hand because it's a black source away from having the Cauldron familiar, being able to use that, but also I like being able to leverage the Karn, also being able to get the Sam out there. It's a bit awkward. Again, we have no black, and then our white enters tapped, but I kind of just like having the pieces and being able to leverage Cord. I think this was a good 7, so that's what I went with. And here, I think it's just for him, it's a matter of Samwise or Cord. You're not really taking the familiar here. I would imagine that if he has some sort of removal spell, you keep the Samwise. If he has some sort of counter, maybe you keep the Cord. So he's gonna take the Samwise, which to me in my head, I just think there's definitely a way to answer it, way to deal with it. So I just want to try to leverage it the best I can and see if maybe I can get it, slide it in there, get it to resolve. So then we're going to go Preordain. So we're going to scry 2. Just taking a look at the context here of the hands, seeing what we want, and we're going to top them both. And then Joe is going to draw a card and kick it back over to me. Pick up the black source for the turn in a peat land. So we're going to get in for 1. And play out this Cauldron, a little drain gain. And even though Joe is already at 13, that really, the Samwise deck, it's really, you're really not winning other than comboing. It's kind of tough. I mean, sure, you can maybe get somebody down to enough life where you could, do some Cauldron stuff, but typically we're just trying to assemble the pieces and kind of go that way. So Joe is going to play a Marsh Flats for the turn. He's going to sack it, and it looks like we're getting a shock land here. So we're going to grab a Hollowed Fountain and kind of see where we go from here. I definitely don't want to see Frog here. Frog's going to be tough to deal with. It's just going to give Joe, I can never really block it, so it's just going to give Joe just advantage every turn, kind of. Okay, so we're going to see an ending here on the Cauldron Familiar. And then we're going to kick it back over to me. I'm going to draw for the turn. And we're going to go Lush Portico for turn. And top card is a Viscera Seer. And as you can see, the turn looks like I have a Temple Garden in hand from the turn before. So Viscer Seer's strange because we have the cord, but, which gets us another piece, but, it's a 3-piece combo, so, it was a weird one to keep on top. I ended up doing it because I just kind of want to assemble everything and try to execute my game plan. But I would not be surprised if it wasn't long for this world. Alright, so we have a Sealand, the Sink into Stupor one. We're going to play that. Play that tapped and just kick it back over. So just passing, leaving some interaction up. Get in for 1 again. Bring Joe down to 8. And then I will play out this Viscer Seer that I kept on top. And kind of just, it's just tough. I don't know. It's gonna be a tough place to be. I ended up playing this Passeju to leave cord open for 1. If I wanted to try to get the Cauldron Familiar on, I have access to it now, or even a Sylvan Safekeeper, which is in my deck. So Joe's gonna take a draw here, and let's see what he's got going on. Land for the turn. It's a Polluted Delta. We're gonna pay a blue. Black, and yeah, we're going to see a frog here. Alright. So this is a bit of a problem for me as I draw land for the turn. I do have this Chord of Calling, though, that Joe does know about. So we're in a bit of a tough spot because this frog, if Joe gives this frog flying, I can't block it, and he doesn't give the frog flying, so I just immediately block, and then sack it, scry, Undying Trigger. He's going to actually cling to dust, so was not expecting that, to be honest, but that's a strong card. So top card here is, when we bottomed that, I couldn't get a look at what it was. I don't remember. And we're in a lot of trouble here. I don't know, it's gonna be really hard to get this Chord of Calling to resolve, but we do pick up Thoughtseize for the turn, which is gonna be nice. So I can take a look at these 2 cards and see what they're at. And this is kind of the game-defining turn here, as I see a Counterspell and a Kaito. So, and then I have this Chord plus land. So, what I do is here, I take the Counterspell, I shock a land in, and I actually go, and you're going to see, yeah, I'm going to get the Dryad Arbor here, and we're gonna Chord for 3. And then just show them the Chord, a little shortcutting, and then we're gonna get the Grist, and we're gonna kill this frog. And at this point, I'm fine with the Kaito being just hard casted. And now I have Viscer Seer with a Grist. So I'm able to, board's clear. So I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, my deck needs to be kind to me. Top of the deck needs to really help me out. But, an active Grist with 1 combo piece. I know the card in hand's a Kaito. So just hoping to, get some creatures, stall the board a little bit, and just find my pieces and try to win that way. Also, if this Grist is unchecked for 4 turns, maybe I can ult it. Who knows? See how many creatures are in the graveyard by then, if we get that far. see Joe crack a fetch here. He's going to grab a swamp. A beautiful swamp, mind you. Joe is a big fan of making his decks look very nice, and I respect that. So here we go here, and now, yeah, we're gonna see a frog, which is really terrible. So, the frog being the draw was pretty rough. Especially because, you know, now it's just going to kill the grist unless we draw like a gilded goose or something to block it. Okay. Alright, we mill over Sam. And then we're going to get an insect here. And the draw for the turn is actually good. It's a birthing ritual, which is great. So we can get the chain going of just trying to find some things. So I already see a Viscer Seer, Cauldron Familiar, another Cauldron. Yeah, this card gets me because it's 7. It's so deep, and I was just making sure. So we end up getting the cat. And I think that's incorrect, looking back at this. I think maybe I should have grabbed the goose and try to prioritize this Gristmore. I mean, yeah, you know, he could put a stun counter with the Kaito, but like, I think I'm kind of okay with that. And, you know, getting another food could matter if, you know. I think the problem was, though, I did one Cauldron was exiled and there were 3 in that pile, so that means they're all going to be at the bottom of the deck, which is brutal because we don't have a. I mean, we could draw a fetch effect. The deck plays, I think, only 8 or 7. Alright, so Kaito's going to hit us. Frog's going to hit the Grist. Draw a card off the Frog. And, you know, still have 2 pieces in play with this birthing ritual, but the problem here is I need to draw a 3rd creature, because even if I sack at the birthing ritual and get a Samwise, I don't combo because I need a food. So I would have to basically exactly draw Sam or draw Gilded Goose, something along those lines, to then start the combo. So I'm going to take a draw here and draw off the Peatland. Haywire Might. And I believe the last card is a land. Yep, Overgrown Tomb. We're going to trigger the birthing ritual. You see a Samwise, a Gilded Goose, a Wall of Roots, Viscer Seer, Verdant Catacombs, Cord, and another Wall of Roots. So, a lot to pick here. Getting Sam doesn't do anything. It is notable, though, there is 2 Sams in the graveyard. So we're putting one to the bottom. So the odds that we see the other one in the top 7, probably pretty low. So that's also something to consider. Getting a Gilded Goose now is kind of rough because there's 2 frogs in play. So, I mean, just the value is just going to keep coming anyway. But it does give us the food. So we're able to combo. Yeah. And then what's we're going to do? We're going to get Sam. And so now we have the pieces in play. We just need to draw a creature, basically. So need to draw a creature next turn, or hopefully the Samwise lives long enough and we can see something with the birthing ritual that gets us there. Because we can just sack the cauldron to the birthing ritual. Okay, we're going to see a Cling to Dust, and that is going to target, I believe he targets the Thoughtseize here to draw. Yeah, so we're going to target Thoughtseize to draw. And you know, I don't feel good about this right now. This is kind of where these these frog decks really just start to snowball. You know, I can't block these frogs. They can get huge. Kaito's in play, and I mean my combo is just sitting there face up. So any interaction is going to be devastating. Best case scenario is there is a removal spell on the Sam. We pick up a Goose for the turn, and then we are able to get a Sam and combo. That's pretty much where we're at. Or the stars align and there's nothing here, and we can just peel a creature and win. All right. Send them all in. We're gonna discard to pump that one. So this is an attack for 7. Alright, yeah, attack for 7, draw 2. And yeah, I mean, combos face up here. I guess I could block with the Cauldron Familiar, but I really want to. That's probably my sack target for the ritual. So my creatures are all accounted for. Can't afford to give any away. And yeah, this is not looking good for us. Joe's just got a full grip. Pretty much, I believe he's got 5 cards in his hand now. And I think now he's just kind of thinking, you know, how do we cross the finish line, and how can I not lose this game? What do I need to do to just make sure that I don't get something happens here where I take an L. So. March flats for the turn. Untap, kick it over to me. I'm going to play Verdant Catacombs for the turn. Notably, Dryad Arbor has already been used, so that was a pretty poor draw. Best case scenario here is there is absolutely nothing in Joe's hand. We peel a creature and we win. That's off the birthing ritual, that is. So we're going to try to move to end step here. And Bowmaster. Yep. So we'll sack the Viscera Seer to itself. Scry, it's another Sam on top, which doesn't help us at all. And then we're going to see another Bowmaster here, I believe. Yep. So another Bowmaster on the Cauldron Familiar. So now Birthing Ritual just doesn't do anything. I mean, we really don't want to sack Sam. It's the heart and soul of the deck. We could if we run. There's not many 3s. The only other 3 I would run is Skycleave Apparition, and I don't think there's another 2 I would really want here. So Yeah, and we're actually going to end up sagging Sam to get a goose. This will let us get our cat back. And we'll just get the cat back right away. Kick it back over to Joe. Joe's going to go down to 7 here. Crack this marsh flats. And we are going to get a... I believe that it's this Undercity Sewer. So we're going to get an Undercity Sewer here. And we're going to surveil. Leave that on top. Which does not sound good for me. So now Joe draws his card for the turn. You know, just thinking about how to cross the finish line here and get this done. I mean, there's no cards in hand. There is 2 frogs in play. So realistically, it could be pump both frogs and then just swing out. And that should do it. Or I don't think there's enough cards in the graveyard for flying, though. Okay, yeah. Now we're going to see Ketramos, Prismatic Ending. Joe's going to draw off the ending. And yeah, we're going to... Looks like we're going to cap off this game 1 here. Yep, give a frog flying. Draw a card. And then discard. Yep, and that's the writing on the wall. So, bit of a tough one to start game 1, but let's get into game 3, or game 2, excuse me, and see where we go. Alright, and we are here for game number 2. I'm going to be on the play. I'm going to start things off with a Windswept Heath, and then we are going to play a Gilded Goose. Goose, and then we're gonna go Overgrown Tomb for that. 17, kick it over to Joe. Joe is going to play a land for the turn, pay 3 to play that land, and he's going to preordain. So preordain. Yeah. And kick it over to me. So I feel really good about this hand. I have some good pieces to combat Joe here. Yeah, I put my food token in there. So food. And you know, I really wanted to get a birthing ritual off right away, so that was very ideal for me. So we're gonna shock the Godless Shrine in. We're gonna play a wall, and we're actually just gonna say go. And kind of want to leverage this birthing ritual a bit. I have a Veil of Summer in hand, so just kind of want to be able to clear the way for it. And I don't want to give up the food. So Joe's going to play a Swamp pass the turn. I draw Cauldron Familiar for the turn, which is great food for this birthing ritual, and that's what we're starting with. So birthing ritual here, and force a negacing pitching to Kaito, and I will Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer is going to draw me a Young Wolf. Then we're going to sack the food, and we're actually going to play out the Young Wolf. So now we're going to trigger the birthing ritual, and yeah, the Veil of Summer was huge there. Being able to get this birthing ritual in and just start the engine, and especially with, you know, a Cauldron in hand and a Young Wolf in hand, we have a lot of the sack pieces that we have a lot of the sack stuff, you know, that we want to actually put in the graveyard. We're gonna get a Grist here, and I thought versus, you know, versus Joe, this is just a good value card to have out of the bunch. We already have the Culture Familiar in hand that we can sack too, and then we could sack Young Wolf. So feeling really good about this. Bowmaster's gonna come down. Can't ping me, so I believe Bowmaster pings Joe, if I'm not mistaken, because can't ping me or the creatures. So now it's Joe's turn here. He picks up a draw for the turn. Let's see what we're looking at here. Just a little bit in the tank here I don't blame him. It's a little difficult to navigate through. You know, he wants to kill the Grist, but gonna lose Bowmaster. Which is, I mean, fine here. I don't really draw many cards, and Bowmaster's not really going to punish me in any way. It's just good to beat a Viscera Seer, really. We're going to see Pest Control, which is a little tough, but not that backbreaking. And then a Relic, okay. And then this is a little tough, but you know, we can navigate through a Relic with enough foods in play. And your combo, you can just beat out a Relic with enough food. So picked up a Viscera Seer for the turn. So now Cauldron Familiar and Viscera Seer in hand, and really all we have to do at this point is find a Sam, because now we have the fetch land. So if we find Sam, we can sack the Cauldron Familiar and then fetch the Dryad Arbor to get the food and start the combo. So looking at a Bowmaster, Safekeeper, I see a Thoughtseize, another Thoughtseize, and Samwise is number 7. So yep, play the Samwise, and that is going to do it here. I think going for it here makes sense because I'm not going to I guess like there could be a surgical or something like that, but with the Relic about to untap and stuff, I'm not really. I think this is the perfect time to Jan. Kind of shields are down, 2 cards in hand. If it's a surgical, it's a surgical. But yeah, see, Joe's gonna give me a concession, and yeah. Quick game 2, and yeah, we'll be headed to game 3. All right, and we're here for game 3. Joe is going to be on the play, and I have a good hand here. I have, Young Wolf. I have Gilded Goose. I have a Fatal Push to deal with any frogs. Cauldron. So I'm feeling good about this hand. I think this is, the kind of thing I want to be doing, especially in this matchup. The push to kind of buy me some time against this frog. Let's see where Joe's gonna go here. He's gonna go Polluted Delta. Take a look at his hand here. Undercity Sewers. We're going to surveil on my end step here. And we're going to put Kaito in the graveyard. Joe's going to draw for his turn. And we're going to go Fancy Island. Tamiyo, okay? So Tamiyo for me is it's not too bad. The we don't really, I mean, other than Tamiyo's ult, there's nothing that's like too bad. I mean, bringing the instant or sorcery can be tough, but you know, it's like a -3 or something, so it's hard to just do 2 turns in a row. And we're gonna play out the Walla Roots here. Green for the Walla Roots, and yeah, play another Gilded Goose. And just doing core to calling green stuff deck, you know, just building your border creatures, leveraging them. And like I said, this luckily this Tamiyo is not going to put pressure on my life total. It's and I'm not too worried about it flipping, but I also don't want to give Joe like a card draw engine either. So we're gonna get a Godless Shrine here. And we're just gonna play out this cat. Draining Gain with the cat. And then we're going to kick it back over to Joe. Just going to untap, draw a card. Fatal Push and Young Wolf are the cards. Tamiyo is going to get a token off the attack. And just immediately draw a card off the Tamiyo attack. Place Marsh Flats for the turn. And kick it over to me. Draw. I believe the pickup was Chord of Calling. Oh, it was a Yawgmoth, excuse me. Yeah, I knew I played a Yawgmoth. I just wasn't sure if I corded for it or not yet. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to get in with the Cauldron. And now this Yawgmoth, now that it resolved, is just, I mean, this is great news for me. And then if I peel a land here, I could play the Young Wolf and do some more card draw. Notably, I didn't put a counter on the Tamiyo. I just sacked my Cauldron to draw a card, which does just not... I don't know why I wasn't thinking of that, and I quickly realized that, yeah, we should probably just put these counters on Joe's creatures. That will be a good idea. Draw Besage for the turn, which is great, so now I can play out this Young Wolf, and then draw some more cards. And, you know, Yawg in this deck, they really, you know, in the Samwise builds, you really only play one as, you know, for matchups like this where, you know, there's a lot of interaction going on. You can kind of peel ahead or you can control the board. I mean, he's just a solid card. And, you know, yeah, being able to just keep up on cards is super good in a matchup like this, but you can only really play one in the deck because, you know, your Birthing Ritual, you don't really have a 3 to grab it consistently. You play like 2 or 3 3s in the deck, and then you can always chord for it, so that's kind of just where you land with the deck, but you're more into your Bursting Ritual stuff, so that's why you really only have one, and it's just not the focus. You're just trying to do the Samwise combo. But it is also a sack outlet for the combo, so and I do have Samwise in hand. So I picked up a Chord of Calling off the cards drawn from Yawgmoth, as well as Samwise, and now, yeah, so we're going to see a fetch, Fatal Push from Joe's turn, and then I'm going to grab a Chord, well, I'm going to Chord, and then grab a Young Wolf with the Chord of Calling, and we are going to just draw a bunch of cards. My life total really doesn't matter too much here. Like I'm confident with going to 7 if I wanted to pick up 7 cards, just because I know if I just have enough resources, I eventually can just throw the combo out there. And so take out the Tameo, and then we're gonna sack. We're gonna put a 1- counter on the 1 wolf and sack the goose. All this while the push is on the stack. Then we're going to flip that. Do a little bit of dice dancing, as I like to call it, with my young wolves. Alright. So now I picked up Cauldron for the turn. There's a Cauldron in the graveyard already. Bowmaster. It's the draw there. Down 1 more, and yeah, let me all go. So now we picked up a full grip on the end step here. Kick it over to Joe, and let's see what he's got cooking over there. But I feel really good about my position. I just picked up a ton of cards. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot to work with, a lot to life total is. I mean, 8 is, you know. I have the Fatal Push for the Frog, which is good, so that's really the only thing worried about. I honestly don't know if Joe has Murktide in this list. So, not positive there. Okay, what are we going to see here? We're going to go Relic, alright. So just a Relic, kick it over to me. Then I have a Chord here, so now I'm going to shock in this Sam, or shock in this Temple Garden to possibly play this Sam. Yep, so Samwise coming in here. And so now there's already a cat in the yard. Which is good for me. So now we have Cauldron. That's going to bring along a trigger off the Samwise. There's a trigger, drain gain. And now with this Chord in hand, I can kind of just leverage it. I'm you know, really kind of just can see where we go here with the game. Not under any pressure whatsoever. I think I probably could have attacked with a Young Wolf, the 2/2/1. But there's also Bowmaster considerations. Joe's going to figure out how to navigate through this. As again, I feel very much in the driver's seat, being able to leverage this Chord on his turn. And eventually I could just start beating down with these creatures if I wanted to, if there's no pressure there. 3 for a Ketramos. Okay. Alright. So Ketramos, it's not really doing much here. I don't really care about Joe drawing too many cards, to be honest. And yeah, it with the relic. If we wanted to pop the relic, we could go and turn it on. But we're gonna see. I'm gonna grab a Visceraseer with this cord. That's gonna get a food, and then I am going to combo now that the relic is tapped. So now that the relic's tapped, he can only, I'll have 2 foods in play. I have a Cauldron Familiar in the graveyard already and 1 in play. But I also just have 2 foods in play, so as long as I have 2 foods in play, I can beat the first relic activation and then just continue my combo. So, yeah. And I also have the Young Wolf too, so if I wanted to, I could sack the Young Wolf to Undying to net another food. So, yep. And then Joe sees that, and he's going to scoop it up, and that'll do it. So overall, again, I really like the Samwise deck. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool combo deck, and I think we just the game 2 where we peeled that Veil of Summer on that turn. I believe it was 3. That was really good for us, and then the Yawgmoth in game 3 was able to just kind of seal the deal. So. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Obviously, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I want to do more of these in the future, and your support helps doing that just by hitting the like. So, appreciate you, and have a good day.